Alright guys, well I'm back today with a review of a Feyachi thermal device. And if you follow the channel, you'll know I've been reviewing more and more thermals lately. One, because they're becoming more affordable, and two, because a lot of people are utilizing these for different hunting applications, especially with NFA approval times dropping next to nothing, only a few days. A lot of guys are getting into hunting with cans, nighttime hunting for varmints and coyotes, and thermal just makes sense for those applications. Now, Feyachi, though, is known to me anyways for budget and high-value red dot sights, scopes, as well as iron sights, and a few other high-value and budget accessories. So when they reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to check out our thermal? I paused and had to think for a second and said, absolutely, let's see what you guys have. After looking at the price of this thermal and them adding a discount coupon for my viewers on the link, this comes out to a very high value. These generally sell for $1,400, and before you click away, they do have a $200 coupon code. And when you consider the quality of this thermal compared to others on the market, this is half and even a third and fourth of the price of some of its competitors, and honestly does its job amazingly and surprisingly well. And I'm super glad Feyachi decided to get into thermal imaging optics. Now, this one comes with a mount already included and already attached. It bolts up rock solid to any flat top AR, and it really is easy to install with no issues whatsoever. It's got a flip up front lens cover, and then it's got this little rubberized eye cup to keep that light away from, I guess, just everything else around you, and it really kind of gives you a little bit more of a concealable nature when that shields your eyes, but you don't necessarily need this eye cup to get the thermal to work. You have two focus points. You're going to have your focus on your object. So whatever you're looking at, whether it be a coyote or a varmint or surveillance, you'll get that focused in for whatever distance it is away from the thermal itself. And then you have the focus on the back to adjust it to your specific eye. Now, unfortunately, this does not have a recording feature, and I would really like to see that, especially with a lot of digital night vision and thermal devices having record features built in. Some of the digital night vision as low as $80 to $100 have a record feature built in. Hopefully, Feyachi will add that in the future, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. Just makes it a little bit harder for me to make these reviews because I can't necessarily show you guys the images. But I can describe in detail the images that I'm seeing in this optic, as well as compare it to some other thermals I have in the same price point and even $2,000 more than this. I want to start by showing you guys the manual and kind of what it comes with. We already discussed the thermal and the mount. It does have a rechargeable battery that's very easy to remove. You simply unthread this compartment door, it pops out, and then you can charge it with the USB-C charging cable. So very intuitive and easy to use. It comes with this nice case. It also comes with another carrying case right here, which is a hard polymer. And overall, it's pretty slick. Let's take a look at this menu. So it goes over in detail all about the thermal sight. You've got a ton of nice features. You can select the color palette that you want to utilize, whether it be white hot, black hot, hot tracking, different color variations and gradients. This is comparable to every other thermal I've been using when it comes to the color palettes, whether it's a $5,000 thermal or a $700 or $800 handheld. A lot of them utilize the same color palettes, and this one does the same thing as well. It's also really nice because it's got a lot of different functionality to it. Get it adjusted specifically to what you want, and you can kind of go through all of those features for what you're looking at. If you also want to pause and read this, I know there's a lot of info on the Amazon link, but if you're interested in the detector, you can pause this, kind of zoom in and read a little bit more about all of the imaging detectors and the refresh rate of this optic. Another thing I want to mention too is this has up to a 12-hour battery life, which is very, very good, especially for a wide variety of applications. So it's a nice setup in general. I want to talk a little bit about the user interface and then how it feels to use this thermal down at the range. So this probably has the simplest interface of any thermal I've used, and you're going to start to see a theme about this optic. We've already discussed how simple it is to mount, just ready out of the box. How simple it is to remove and charge the battery. And it's also incredibly simple to utilize. You turn it on, you have different adjustments for the menus, and you have left and right to zoom in or go through the menu settings. And it's very easy to understand the menu settings, and it's also very easy to sight in. So you'll go into the sight in setting, you'll take your shot, and you'll sight this in like any other scope on the market, and you simply adjust the Y or X axis accordingly, and you can actually do something as simple as a one-shot sight in. What you'll do is you'll line up a white paper target at day or at night, it really doesn't matter. And I've utilized different sighting systems for thermals in the past, and all of them work for this optic. For me, I like to set up, like I said, a white piece of paper and draw a black dot on it. I like to sometimes use the Optics Planets targets. They have the green circles. Those pick up heat differently, and the white reflects heat. So if you have a dark spot and a white spot, you can actually very easily see it on paper. You make the dot very fine. You take your shot, and then you'll see the heat difference where the round impacts on the paper, and then you just hold it steady, and then you simply move your reticle to where that dot hit, and now you're sighted in. So this was a one-shot sight in, and it did great. And I've been running this day and night and shooting in a wide variety of configurations, but unfortunately, because it doesn't have record, I couldn't record any of that. But I did take some stock footage of me just running this during the day, during the sight in process, and man, it's been working great. For me, I've been putting this on top of a 5.56. I feel like I trust this on higher recoil, but I've been running it on a 5.56, so I can personally recommend this for a 5.56. And I think it's a perfect varmint getter, especially with like a 16-inch upper. Throw that thermal on top. You can really set up a high-value varmint getter, coyote getter, or a hog getter for a very affordable price and really just nail it with the thermal imaging. Now, this thermal has been working great down at the range. The heat detection is amazing. I can easily make out deer of what they are at 150 yards, no problem whatsoever. Very comparable to some other $2,000 and $3,000 thermals I've been looking at here recently and reviewing on the channel. This is definitely going to be better image quality than a lot of those handheld thermals that come in at $700 to $800. And then you also have the ruggedized nature of a thermal optic that's designed to mount to a rifle scope and the ability to sight it in. So you're going to have more technology built in than a lot of those other handheld thermals, but pretty much maybe $200 or $300 more than some of those cheap kind of handheld thermals. So it comes in at a great price point. The real question is, you know, going to be warranty, lifetime, things like that. So you got the Amazon backing of a product like this when you're ordering from Amazon. So if it arrives dead on arrival or something like that, you've got the backing of Amazon. Now, Feyachi has been selling on Amazon for years. So they do have a reputation and a history on Amazon. But as far as other companies, you know, US-based direct companies, like you're going to have differences there in the sense of, are you going to trust the track record of Feyachi coming out with a new thermal? And I can't answer that for you. You're definitely going to save thousands of dollars over other thermals, and it's been working absolutely great on this setup, and I've really fallen in love with this design. It's an affordable way to get into a thermal rifle scope at $1,200. That's compact, easy to use, well-rounded, and just overall great. I mean, absolutely great. I have no complaints about this. Again, if you get something dead on arrival or have issues, Amazon's got a great return policy, so that's a nice feature that I would use if something does happen. But honestly, it's been great. I can definitely recommend it, but just keep in mind there are going to be other companies with $2,000 and $3,000 thermals that are going to have warranties written, set in stone, that the companies will be around for another 15 to 20 years to handle product returns, like Burris and ATN and Pulsar and things like that. So that is probably one of the downfalls of something like this. I did want to bring it up, but guys, man, it's been working, and it's been working great. Feyachi does have some thermal imaging photos available on their Amazon link. If you want to get a little bit more detailed info, it's going to be all in the description below. That coupon code won't last long, so if you are going to grab it and you're watching this video, I would grab it sooner rather than later because that code will expire. Hope you guys liked the video. Hope it gives you an interesting thermal device that's a very high value and very simple to use. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.